No, current slide. All right. So now we are going to be looking at religion. Hold on. Everything looks delayed. All right. All right, so we're going to be looking at religion now, right? So this is the next social institution. So we're focused on religion. So what is religion? This is a social system of beliefs and rituals, and I like it when you're reading with me. So I'm going to pretend that you're actually following my instructions and reading with me. All right, because I believe in you, so I know you're actually doing it because you are obedient students. All right, this is a system of beliefs and rituals that serve to bind people together through shared worship, thereby creating a social group. It is also described as or defined as a set of beliefs and practices that pertain to a sacred or supernatural realm that guides human behavior and gives meaning to life among a community of believers. Sound simple or does it sound complicated? So essentially, religion gives you faith in the fact that there is somebody that, or something, or a supreme being that is looking out for you. And if you are faithful, if you are obedient, that supreme being will be there for you. That supreme being will be there to comfort you. That supreme being will be there to guide you. So you'll find that from the dawn of civilization, from the moment man walked earth, and if you look at hieroglyphics, and those are the writings in the wall, and looking at artifacts from ancient civilizations, you will find that they had zemis, they had little gods. Some cultures would have zemis that they praised. You'll find that the Egyptians would have hieroglyphics showing, kings or queens praying to something else or looking out. So you'll see images of the sun and then praying to it, which would suggest a greater God, something there to say that, I have something that is guiding me, that can comfort me, that can help me to get through the struggles that life will throw my way. That is the function, that is the role of religion, right? And again, that is the manifest function of religion. So what is religion? So it is a belief in a deity, and deity means a God. It's a doctrine of salvation, right? It's a code of conduct, and it has religious rituals. So we believe in a God, a doctrine of salvation that you can overcome whatever struggles you are facing, right? And if you do fail along the way, meaning that you sin, you do something that you are based on the code of conduct, based on, for example, let's use Christianity, based on the 10 commandments. You stole, you lied, you were judgmental, you coveted your neighbors, whatever it is, you know that you can ask for repent, you can repent, and you can be forgiven, and you can start afresh. That's the idea of the doctrine of salvation. And the code of conduct, as I said before, would be the 10 commandments. So you know what you're supposed to do, what you are not supposed to do. And you have rituals, for example. So within Christianity, when you're praying, you close your eyes, or you clasp your hands, you close your eyes, you kneel, and you're supposed to pray multiple times per day. When you go to church, when you're supposed to greet your neighbors, you will have Sabbath school, and then you will have a sermon where everybody comes together. Other rituals can include communion, where you have the little glasses that are passed around the church, and it's really grape juice, but it is symbolic of the blood of Jesus, right? Those are the religious rituals that are associated with religion. And so the functions of religion, as I said, it offers comforts, right, which would fall under exerts a great influence upon personal development. So you know how you are supposed to behave, right? You know that you can be forgiven when you do wrong. You know that you can ask for guidance. You know you can ask for protection. All of that helps you to develop a sense of confidence in yourself, knowing that your decisions are guided by a supreme being, that they are guided by God, right? Um, and it serves as a means of social control, because what you will find is that the rules of a nation are usually the rules present in that nation's religion as well. So, for example, if you kill, you're going to be punished. If you lie in certain settings, so maybe a lie between you and I, so you say you did not turn in your assignments because you had no internet, when it was really because you just didn't do it because you were using the internet to Netflix, right? So you can lie in that setting and get away. However, if you're supposed to write a paper, for example, you're supposed to be doing your research and you submit someone else's paper, you can be given a 0. You can be punished for that. You understand that lying has its implications. And so you learn growing up that you're not supposed to lie. You learn growing up that you are not supposed to steal. If you are to go to court and you're supposed to lie in court, you can be charged for that. If you steal, there are penalties associated with what you may have stolen in terms of the value of what you stole, right? And based on the value, you will serve longer times, right? If you kill someone, you're going to find that you are also going to be charged from that. So you're seeing that the rules and regulations present in a religion is also present in that society, right? They usually mirror, religion usually mirror the society, and the society mirrors what is found in the religion. For example, in Jamaica, we have anti-gay or buggery laws. So you will find that there are verses in the Bible that will shun the relationships between members or individuals who are of the same sex, and you will find that our laws reflect that as well. So in Jamaica, for example, you can't legally marry a woman, you can't legally marry a man. If you are engaged in any sexual activity with a member of the same sex and you are found, well, you have to be found in the act for it to be an offense. But if it is that you are found, you can be charged for that. And that is the government also reflecting what is seen in our religion, and religion is reflecting what is seen in our government, right? So that is what we say when we point out that a function of religion is that it serves as a form of social control. So to control members of the society, all institutions have to have a common goal. You notice it? All of them have a purpose, or they all have a purpose as it relates to socializing you, or socializing the society as to what the norms and values are. So the family does it, and then the school does it, and then religion does it, and then it is also seen in government as well. So you see that all of these groups, right? All of these social institutions have a common goal of socializing the members of the society to understand what the norms and values of the society are, right? So let me just run through these. Other functions. It allays fears of the unknown. So, you have an exam coming up, you can pray about it, God just guide me, I don't know what to expect, and you can pray, you can get those insecurities out, those those fears that you may have as of what to come. You may be graduating and you may be wondering, where am I going to go next, or what subjects should I do? I'm going to go into fourth form, or I'm in fifth form. What subjects am I going to do at the Cape level? You can ask for guidance as it relates to that. Explaining events or situations. So somebody dies, somebody will tell you, it's all in God's hand. God always has a plan, no matter how dismal a situation is. There's something that you can learn from it. So it explains situations that you may not be able to explain, that you may not understand, right? It gives comfort, strength, and hope in times of crisis and despair. So you can, when you feel overwhelmed by this whole idea of COVID and having to study online and not being able to see your friends and having to be inside all day, you find that a lot of people are becoming depressed at this time. But if you have a relationship with God, while you are perplexed and stressed at this time, you can, go to Him and just let out all of those issues that you have. So you will be given some strength and some comfort and some hope. So that hope would come from reading the Bible and seeing that everyone in the Bible had a trial that they had to overcome. Absolutely everyone had. Jesus Christ Himself had trials, right? So it will give you hope. So you will see that it's a part of being human, you know, and religion allows you to get that sense of comfort and that sense of hope. And it preserves and transmits knowledge, skills, spiritual, cultural values and practices. And as I said, you will see that how we're supposed to behave as women, how we're supposed to behave as men. Religion teaches these things as well. It serves as an instrument of change, meaning, if it is that we find that as a nation we're going in the wrong direction, we can call upon members of, various denominations, or we can call upon the leaders within the respective religions and say, listen, we need to come together and come up with a plan. How are we going to reach our people? How are we going to save our people? Right? And that is why when, major injustices takes place where someone may have been murdered or something happened to somebody, or there's a particular law, you will see that the churches will go out and the churches will walk in protest or in solidarity. That is why they are instruments of change, because they can move the people to follow them, and they can follow them based on the fact that people will trust someone who seems to know God, who seems to be in tune with His word. So when we say instruments of change, if a law is going to take effect, the church can come out and say, for example, when we wanted to have the casinos here, and the members of the church came out and said, no, you know how many things you're going to be introducing to our nation with gambling and drinking and use of drugs and all of these things that are associated with casinos. And they had their walks and they were on the radio and they had commercials saying, listen, we don't want this here. That is how they act as instruments of change. Promoting closeness, love, cooperation, friendliness, helpfulness. We can all see examples of this. You go to church, you refer to each other as your brother and, brothers and sisters, and auntie this reads the story. And we have all of these experiences. That is what the church does. It gives you a sense of community. So when you go to church, that is where you should be able to go and, feel safe, even though in recent times, we may have come to call that into question as it relates to how safe you actually are in church. But not being able to feel safe in church speaks to the influence of the family, it speaks to the influence of education, it speaks to the influence of government, it also speaks to the influence of church, right? Because you find that as culture changes, people are not as fearful of God as they once were, where you would think, listen, I can't even go to church and speak, you know, poorly or speak badly of a member of the congregation because this is church and God is seeing me. Imagine to walk into a church to shoot somebody. The level of disregard you must have, like there's no fear of God. Like, yeah, church I go on, them a pray one God up there. So, when I see him, they about the place, can go and shoot somebody and walk out and all will be well. You know what I mean? That says a lot about a person. It says a lot about a society. And you have to think, when a member of our society does something, you really have to ask yourself, who failed you? Who failed you as a human being? One, for you to think that you can take the life of another person for any reason, because people will always wrong us, but it does not know, no one has the right to take anybody's life, no matter how terrible the person was. However, at the same time, you have to think, you're afraid of God? Like, seriously? You know what I mean? But it says a lot, the fact that the person did that, and before the end of the day, they were found. But the understanding that it promotes closeness and love and cooperation and friendliness. When you go to church, you greet your brothers and your sisters. So you're not just somebody who is at church, you're a brother, you're a sister. That alone speaks to the level of closeness that you're supposed to have when you enter the church environment. Alleviate sufferings from major calamities. So, for example, we have COVID and we have these heartbreaking death rates, and many people have suffered. I've had two family members die during COVID, and it will be my relationship with God that can get me through these things. You know what I mean? And so alleviate suffering, meaning that you are able to pray about it, just go to God and just vent and say, listen, this is overwhelming, this is too much. Right? And it provides hope for a blissful life. And the hopes for a blissful life comes from the fact that, you've heard, songs in church where they'll sing and say, all right, you're going to walk these streets of glory by and by. I wonder if you guys go to church and you know what songs I'm singing. But they'll have songs about, when you get to heaven, how happy you will be. So it will say that, life on earth may be rough, but there is a happier time ahead, right? So that is what religion does for a people, right? And then we're going to move on to government. So government laws are based on the value consensus, and value consensus essentially means that as a society we all agree, because consensus means, yes, we believe that this is the thing. We believe that, or better, let me say, we're all in agreement that this thing is important. All right, that's essentially what value consensus speaks to. So they standardize the rules agreed upon by members of the society. So based on religion, based on education, based on the values and systems that are present in the family, based on the culture, the laws are designed or written around the culture of the society. So you'll find that in a Christian society, the laws will reflect the values of Christianity. In a Muslim society, the laws will reflect the rules and regulations and expectations found in their religious teachings, right? So the justice system executes the integration function as defined by Talcott Parsons. You don't have to stress that. It's sociology. Well, I need you to understand these concepts from a sociological perspective. It punishes and thereby deters deviance. What is deviance? This is doing anything outside of what is normal. So if you do something wrong, this is what is going to happen. If you lie, you're going to prison. If you smoke, you're going to go to prison. Or better yet, if you smoke this, or if you have this amount of marijuana in your possession in this particular setting, you are going to be charged for it. If you kill somebody, this is the penalty you will pay. So it punishes you, and because of the punishment, it deters others. So because you'll see that somebody will be locked away for life, you're going to ensure that, listen, I could have vexed one more time and I'm going to walk away and I'm going to leave you alone, because really and truly, I don't want anybody to lock me up anywhere. All right? So that is how it acts as a deterrence. And it also rehabilitates deviance. So there are people who may have done wrong, and through punishment, you are able to learn from your mistakes. So that's the idea behind saying it also rehabilitates deviance. All right, so the government comprises organizations and the structures clearly identified with social control, such as the judiciary, the police force, and the legislature. It administers justice, fair treatment of all before the law. So everybody is entitled to the same rights. Everybody is entitled to the same due process. Everybody is considered innocent until they have faced a jury of their peers, and then it is determined whether or not, based on the evidence, if they are guilty or innocent. But we start off by assuming innocence, and then we can prove otherwise along the way. So those are the social institutions, guys. I just wanted to ensure that I explained the PowerPoint so that you are not left confused. So this is what we're going to be focusing on. All right, so go through this. You have my number. You have the WhatsApp group. I prefer you, if you are not necessarily confident about your question, or you're not comfortable about your question, you can send it to me personally, but I genuinely prefer, you know, it's hungry, I'm hungry. Really and truly, I'm hungry. As I was saying, I genuinely prefer when the messages are sent to the group, because what you'll find is that others have the same questions but don't want to ask it. But when you ask it and I answer, everybody benefits. So as you go through the PowerPoint, guys, and you watch the videos, if there's something you don't understand, ask. I'm going to test you on it. You're going to be graded on it. You know, we are back to being online, and we don't know how long we're going to only be online for. So we have to ensure that when TXT comes around, easy breezy, you know, we've covered everything and we're good. And for you to be good, you have to be studying from this point. You cannot wait until April. There's just so much content to cover. So if you're not sure, if you are not certain, if you are not clear, send the message to the WhatsApp group and we can go from there. Alrighty, guys. Did I just snap? Did I just snap in my class? All right, I'm hungrier than I thought I was before I started the video. So before I do anything else that is unbecoming, let's see, just log off of this chat. Stop in that chat. You see? Bye, people. Bye.